But anyway, back to now and the future. The future is always unknown, right? So in a sense, that what did you call it? The crest of reality?
Crest of reality.
Is always between the known and the unknown. And anytime that we take a risk when we're moving forward, we're stepping into the unknown in the same way that you're stepping from order into chaos. And you have to see what treasures are there. And so every moment of our life, we're on that adventure, we're on that edge. But that there's another way in which that edge is the whole idea of creativity, because that's where creativity lives, is right there in between the known and the unknown.
How do you become an active member of this corner without being proficient in everything that's being talked about? So you have some intuitions and you have some ideas, and you can't just mimic or copy those at the top of the hierarchy. That won't work. So it has to be something way, way more, mundane or basic.
Yeah.
And I think each and every one of us has this spark of creativity that is, it's kind of anarchy. It's like something comes to your mind and you don't know where it comes from. And usually people don't follow that thought, but creative people tend to make that the starting point for something.
Yeah. That's
so
beautiful.
whatever that anarchy is inside you, it can be painting, it can be writing, it can be whatever. That's, I think, the starting point, how we become members of this little corner of the internet.
And I think every time I hear you say we, I think it depends what we is. And I think in that sense, that's where I see this little corner coming to meet this moment.
Oh, that's I hadn't thought about that.
Because
so just let me make sure and sorry for interrupting, I just want to get it. Instead of the we being, it's like, no, this little corner is a nexus point of many different Christian groups and non-Christian groups. And that nexus point is perhaps the place we should look for as the thing that will rise to the response. Is that what I'm hearing you say? That's really good, Paul.
And yeah, I think it's a good reminder for the people that are participating in this to know that there's a way to also do this. Just in general, I think in a way what this little corner has brought me is the ability to do more and more of this, and to see the value in it, and to carry that out. So I think
how to not just walk 1 mile with your neighbor 2 miles.
Yeah,
it's a very beautiful Christian motif, actually. If someone asks you to walk with him 1 mile, do it for 2 miles.
Yeah.
So it's and in that sense, it's kind of sacred, actually. It's like, how do we, in our lives, online and offline, participate in the world, that the world looks at us like a lighthouse. And that's an image that I've been thinking about recently quite a lot. It's like, no, before that I was like, okay, I'm a speedboat, I have to get out there, I have to go crazy mileage, fast action based.
Grind.
And that's not what the world needs around me.
No,
what the world needs is like, you stand there and you don't move and you shine. And then people notice you and say, okay, thanks for the orientation. And that at times can feel utterly boring because you don't move. And at times it's life-saving for other people. And I have to learn to live in this tension of not moving, and at the same time accepting that me not moving might actually be beneficial for those around me.
Yeah.
Experience, especially if you also talk to other people, and you can kind of see in your own life when you're on a productive path that sort of ennobles and enlightens you, or a destructive path. And I think it's kind of useful to think that maybe the dichotomy between those two paths might be real, and because that also allows you to give credence to your intuitions about that sort of thing. But I don't think it's unreasonable to posit that since you're alive, adopting the highest possible regard for the fact that you're alive and that you're surrounded by other creatures that are alive, I just can't see how that can possibly be construed as a losing strategy. And so that's the first thing. So that's something like faith, right? It's faith. It's not only faith in your being, but it's faith in being as such. And the faith would be something like, if you could orient your being properly, then maybe that would orient you with being as such.
Jordan Hall and I were both using the surfing and sailing metaphors, right? Where you're trying to step outside of kind of a passive empiricism or an overly active romanticism. Faith can't be the imposition of your will. I'm just going to make things happen, and faith can't be sort of the passive waiting for the miracle that's going to come and rescue you. Faith is like what the skilled sailor has. It's the ability to receive and adjust and evolve and ride the edge of the wave and the storm. As Andy Clark's book has it, surfing the wave of uncertainty.
And I hear this definition that faith is believing things without evidence. No, that's not it at all. Faith is leaning into the unknown with a hope for glory, joy, potential, gain, trusting in. Now, again, Peterson will sort of go into being itself.
Right, now, hope. The thing, let's see, is that the right word? Like the thing or the aspects of reality that are connected with the angelic are simultaneously always fully present and more fundamental. Mm-hmm. Right? And so it is in some sense merely anyone, everyone, everywhere finding a way back into relationship with those forces that are always present and more fundamental, grounding in them, and then building that trench, to use your metaphor, or I'll say sandbags, against the flood.
It's maybe what this little corner is actually creating is like these beacons of light, small as they may be, to shine both into the online and offline world.
Yeah.
And make people realize there's something more. Keep it that, not define what that more is, but just that taste of this more, whatever that might be. And at the end of the day, it turns out to be hope.
Love in the comedy can be seen as the animating force behind everything that Dante talks about. And not only the animating force in the story, but really presented as something like the animating force of everything. That is the manner in which the world exists. And for us as modern people, that is a very strange thing to think that the world exists through love.
It's kind of like the question of where is the kingdom? It's between us. It's in the love. Well, where is the love? Well, where's the love between that couple? Well, it's in their children. It's in their home. It's in how their story has impacted other people. And what's amazing is that it's like, well, that's not really real. And this is where materialism is breaking down and why materialism is breaking down, because you could own a guitar that you picked up at a garage sale and think, oh, that's a pretty cool guitar. It works pretty well. I didn't pay too much money for it. I like it. Maybe it was Elvis's guitar, but as long as you don't know that it was Elvis's guitar, it's only worth a few $100. Or maybe you don't even care about Elvis. Maybe you don't, maybe it was Elvis's guitar, but you don't give a crap. So that's why it's the whole business about this movement that's far larger than Jordan Peterson. This recession of modernity and a certain way of looking at the world, that has everything to do with this. And so that's why there should be no question that figuring out where this little corner is no easy thing.
Natural love may never fall to error. The other may by striving to bad ends, or by too little, or by too much fervor. While it desires so I think that's that. All right, so while it desires the eternal good and measures, its wish for secondary goods and reason, this love cannot give rise to sinful pleasure. But when it turns to evil or shows more or less zeal than it ought for what is good, then the creature turns on its creator. Thus, you may understand that love alone is the true seed of every merit in you and all acts for which you must atone. And so love is basically, if I'm going to be simple about it, love is basically that which makes you move. Whatever it is that makes you move in the world, you can understand as love.
So that's why this is so torturous, because churches create a community that creates an environment for love. And then we can't love each other as well as we could because of time, space, personality, hurts, wounds, limitations. And that's what's so glorious about the vision of the kingdom of God and life in the age to come, because you get a sense that a lot of these ceilings on love will be lifted. What does that mean? I really don't know how it'll work. But if you ask me what this little corner is about, it's that we're getting more and more chance to love each other. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And we're doing it through these. I'm sitting alone in this room talking to this camera. What a good thing. We're learning to love online instead of do all that other crappy stuff we do online. Isn't it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it.